What happens when you find one subject to shoot over the 4 changing seasons? Well, you should end up with 4 different images, each representing summer, autumn, winter, and now spring. Quick recap, 3 months ago I came out to this very location. The plan was to find one composition, one subject that I could come back to over the course of the 4 seasons, documenting the changes. The first trip here was especially difficult in winter because I had to find the composition in the first place, especially as the river beside me had burst its banks, making that task a little bit harder. I had the option of shooting the bridge that you see behind me, but I wanted to shoot it as a long exposure. I'd left my ND filters at home. Be better prepared next time. I did also think of shooting out here in these flooded fields, but the scenes that I came across just couldn't connect with them. Yet there was a third option, a lone tree standing in solitary confinement. And here we are back at the lone tree that I shot 3 months ago when I visited in winter. You can see already just looking at the scene here before us what a difference spring makes. The tree is now, it's got leaves on it. I was a little bit worried when I visited here last time that the tree actually might be dead. There wouldn't be any difference to the tree, our main subject itself, but thankfully it's got some lovely lush green leaves on it now. As you can see in the background, I couldn't have picked a better time. I knew nothing about this mist when I left home this morning, but I came down here and there's some lovely mist over the valley as it runs off alongside the river. Now the quandary is, when I came here the first time, the plan was to shoot one composition and keep it exactly the same over the 4 seasons. But as you can see, I've come here today, we've got some fog, we've got wildflowers in the foreground, we've got some lovely light now appearing against the tree. I might have to adjust, and instead of it being the exact same composition each time, it might just have to be the one subject. But that original shot, I've got it on my phone right here now, and you can see you've got the long grasses in the foreground. Instead of the long grasses, we've got the wild flowers. In terms of settings, well, they're always going to be different. I'm here already at a different time of the day. The sun's just coming up above the trees over towards the right. We've got this mist to take into account as well. But settings I used last time, well, ISO was 250 and I shot at 24mm. Now, if I do decide to shoot it from the exact same position, then that is going to be a great indicator because I'm going to know how far, how close I'm going to be able to stand. Then the aperture, I was at f8. I'm nearly always at f8. It gives me a nice amount of sharpness from front to back, and that gave me a shutter of 1/640th of a second. Now I've not got the camera out yet, as you can see. I'll have a chat, but I think as well this might be a shot worth putting on the tripod. Straight away I'm thinking ISO 100. Get as little noise as possible. Of course, wait a little bit longer because when the sun comes above the trees, we'll get more of the right-hand side of the tree glowing just nicely. The last of the mist is just burning off. I think I'm going to get on and take the shot, and I'll share it up on screen in just a minute. Springtime. So with the tree captured, I thought I'd take a walk alongside the river because there's one other subject I want to try and capture today. But first things first, breakfast. And the subject that I had in mind were these, boats. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, you know how much I love incorporating boats into my images where possible, especially for my trips to Lower Howstow, to Orr Marshes, and numerous other locations. The trouble is with this little project, when I came out here in February, I couldn't come along this pathway because it was all flooded. But the other factor is boats, they're movable objects. didn't want to find a scene that I fell in love with. Thought, right, I want to go back there, shoot that multiple times across the year, only to come back in spring and find the boat had gone. I could come back in summer and find it there again, in autumn, find it gone again. Have this endless to and fro of being unable to document the changes that I want. However, you equally know, or you may equally know, that when I come out to a location, when I go out with a camera, I hate focusing and shooting just one thing. It's a waste of effort going out. It's a waste of fuel. So I thought, having shot that tree, I'd come for a walk along by the river and see if there were any boats worth capturing. So that's what I'm going to head off and do right now. And I think I've come across the quaintest little scene to shoot for my boat fixation. It's this right here. Beautiful shot as we approach the next town. You've got the chimneys just breaking through the trees in the distance. That's one aspect that's made me pause and shoot this particular shot. You've got so many leading lines. You've got the boats themselves. The river curves round. So still, there's no wind to talk of today. So we've got beautiful reflections with the trees, with the boats on the river. We've got a jetty, a wooden jetty, just breaking through the little wildflowers, our second leading line. And then over here on the right, we've got the pathway as you walk on in towards the town. Just perfect, really. Like I say, it could be better at this point now. It's just blue sky. This is what I was expecting today. The fog's all disappeared. I got down here a lot earlier when the fog was still quite thick. The mist was still quite thick, I should say. It would have been even more beautiful, even more atmospheric. But still, this is still a beautiful looking scene, and one I can't help but capture. And on that note, I think I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to go home and get some rest. I'm heading out this evening. Big shout out to my oldest friend, Brian. He turned 40 a couple of days ago, so I'm heading down this evening to see him. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I'll reply to each and every message. If you want to subscribe, please do so. It really helps me out with the algorithm. That's only if you want to, though. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll get me videos during summer and autumn in this amazing location. But for now, you take care. I'll see you on the next one. Here's bye from me.